Okay, today it is Tarab versus Bhangra. Who's going to win? Which board are you going to buy? So, first up, it's the Tarab. This is the latest thing from Loaded. It's just arrived and it's up against its bigger brother, the Bhangra, which everyone loves. And they're both in that dance freestyle sort of board, and let's just go through the specs on them. So the Tarab is pitched by Loaded as a lighter weight, durable sort of dance freestyle board, but they've also built in a lot of features that they think it's going to be good for cruising as well, so just pushing around. So I mean, I think they're trying to go for not such a pure dance board. It is a loaded board that I think it's like all their boards. It crosses over a lot of boundaries and can be used for a lot of different types of skating. The actual specs of the two boards. So the Tarab is 47 inches. That's 119 centimeters. And it's 9.5 inches wide, which is the same as the Bhangra. The Bhangra is 48.5 inches long, so that's 123. So we're talking 119 versus 123. And wheelbase wise, this one is 32.7, and the Tarab introduces two. This one, they've got two different wheelbases, which is a little bit more unusual from Loaded. They normally only give you one wheelbase. So the two wheelbases are 31.25 and 32.25. So 31 and a quarter and 32 and a quarter. So the wheelbases, the furthest one out is very similar to the Bhangra. Okay. Now, weight-wise, because Loaded have said that they want something that's more lightweight. So you think that there may be, the Bhangra, I mean, the Tarab is obviously an improvement on the Bhangra, though it's sort of like, I think it's a little bit more, general use type of board. It's not just a pure dance board. So they have said they want it more lightweight. They say that it's 2.3. This one is the Flex 1. And this is the Flex 1 Bhangra. And they say that one's about 2.9. Now, I'm just going off their website. We put them on the weighing machine, and we might cut to that while I'm talking about them, but if we do film that, us putting them on the weighing machine, they both came out the same. Like, it's an old school sort of weighing machine. It might not be that accurate, but they basically came out the same, which is 2.4. So, Loaded said it's, 2.3. It's really about 2.4. So they both weigh the same. But when you pick them up and you compare them, the Bhangra feels heavier. So that could be the thickness. Just picking it up, you feel like it's going to be lighter because it's thinner. Okay, so let's get to what these guys, what is similar about them? So we'll just go this one. I mean, everyone's going to be wanting to know about the ride. So you probably can't see it, but straight away by looking at them, I can tell that the kicks on the Bhangra are a bit more. So they also, the Tarab is symmetrical. It's purely symmetrical. It's the same front and back, which will appeal to a lot of dancing and freestyle people. The Bhangra is directional. So the nose is smaller than the tail. Okay, so the tail is a little bit bigger. And, you know, these were designed, you know, this one was designed with purely dancing in mind. So it sort of suits more that, you know, the big G turn, the shove it sort of thing. While the Tarab, I think, is a more technical board and for more technical skating. So the actual concave is very similar. I think Loaded call this one the elliptical concave. When they did the Bhangra, they called it the U concave. So I mean, your foot's supposed to fit nice and snug in there. Both of them have that really nice mild concave, but it locks your feet in. It feels very comfortable. So when you're walking on it, when you're doing different types of skating, it feels very natural, and you don't feel like your foot isn't supposed to be somewhere. So they both have that going for them. Now, they both have that. They both have that vertically laminated core. It's a little bit hard to tell. The Bhangra has sort of two laminated cores. So I mean, what they did with the Bhangra, two laminated cores, and then they put cork between the two cores. Okay, while what they've done here is they've done one layer of vertically laminated bamboo, which immediately makes it thinner. They've put in this basalt layer, and this one also has an extra layer of bamboo because it's the Flex 1. Both of them don't have fiberglass, okay, which is a big feature that Loaded likes to point out. So they have resin, but they don't have like any fiberglass. They both have wheel wells. You can tell the wheel wells on the Tarab are beautiful. They really are. And they're CNC cut. So it is Loaded getting back to their, you know, making those beautiful CNC cut boards, you know, styling the bamboo, flexing, bending it in amazing ways. The Bhangra does have wheel wells, but they're sort of just cut in afterwards. I don't think they're CNC. They're a little bit homemade. So it looks like they've been put on the router or something. See that one? It's not quite right. But that's what you get. I mean, that's what the Bhangra is all about. You know, it is a dance board. Its heritage comes from the two Adamses skating for Longboard Larry. So their Longboard Larry days when they had the big dance boards, and this was their, you remember they made the Dancer and then it turned into the Bhangra. They made it a bit smaller. And it is a little bit more of a, you know, homemade style board. It's not homemade. What's the word I'm looking for? It's sort of like a little bit more like a garage board. It's got like the funky graphics on it that isn't perfect. The wheel wells aren't perfect, but it's nicely sealed and laminated. But it's a little bit more of, you know, back to the Adamses sort of heritage. While the Tarab is just classic Loaded construction. Absolutely beautiful. It is almost like, you know, they've created the perfect, you know, freestyle dance board, and here it is. So we've talked about the two, everything that's similar, and they are similar, you know, similar lengths. This one's a little bit shorter. You get like a smaller wheelbase. They're both about the same size, same weight, but what's different? So what is different is the construction of the Tarab. You've got like this basalt layer, and they're saying that the basalt layer adds some extra dampening in, so it's going to help with stiffness and dampening on a little bit more rough terrain, sticking those aerial tricks that you're going to do. They've got like the urethane bumper, which is a feature in a few boards these days, and that is beautifully done. That's going to help with the board's wear. And the other feature that it has, so they don't have this urethane bumper all the way around. They've put in this UHM WPE layer. So it's basically like a little slide puck in there. It's like that polyethylene or whatever it's called. And that is going to help with bumps and scrapes. It's going to protect the board. And then it's going to give you a longer life with the board. So the board's a little bit more expensive, but it's going to last longer. It's going to help you do better tricks. It's going to help you learn. And the other feature is the cork on top. So they both have cork. It's just that with the Bhangra you can't see it because it's in the middle of the two layers. But for the Tarab, they've put the cork on top. Now this feels brilliant. It really does. So it's supposed to add a bit of tackiness. Yes, cork can be tacky, but this tacky means it's a little bit sticky. So it's not like your grip tape, so you can move your feet around. So if you like peeling off the grip off your board, this board could be for you. Because I mean, this cork, it just feels great. You still can get a little bit of grip in there without being stuck on your board. The other new feature, and I don't know if you can see it, has grab rails all the way. So they start about here and they go up to here. And that is really nice. So it's nice when you're carrying your board. So it feels good when you've got that board tucked up against you and you're walking up the hill or you're going into the shops. But it also helps for those when you're grabbing your board and doing a trick. It's right there. It feels quite good. And the other feature of the Tarab is this matte finish. And it's a little bit rough. It's not like the Bhangra. The Bhangra has that polished, sealed feel. And that's probably because of the graphic that they've burnt into the board. But this one is sealed and it's like a little bit, it's very, very smooth. But for the Tarab, they've gone with that matte finish. Now, this is the Flex 1. And we have been told the Flex 1 has an extra layer of bamboo. That's how they're stiffening it up. With the Flex 2, they've taken out that bamboo, so it's a lot more flexy. So, which is the more flexy board? I think the Flex, the Bhangra is slightly flexier. Okay, it is just the way it's constructed. It feels, when you're skating and you're standing on it, it feels a little bit more flexier, but it also feels heavier. I don't know if that's just an illusion because of the thinness and the thickness, but the Flex 1 is definitely a little bit less flexy. I mean, it still flexes and it's still very comfortable when you're pushing around, but if you're doing more aerial tricks and you're like flipping your board and getting very technical in your dancing and your tricks, this is the board for you, because landing those tricks and getting that stable platform, it's really nice, that Flex 1. Well, it is for me. I feel like it just feels nicer. If you want a flexi board, go the Flex 2. You can read all the specs on each one, the recommendations of, your weight, the type of skating, that's all online. And that's the two boards. They're both brilliant boards. I think the if you like that loaded construction and that beautiful feeling that just you get with a loaded board, that it's just perfectly designed and constructed, the Tarab's for you. If you're into that technical dancing or, you know, technical tricks, definitely you want the Tarab. If you want a more all-round board, I'd go the Tarab, because I just feel like when you're pushing and you're skating around, it just feels nicer. If you're into dancing, I mean, this is still, I think, one of the best dance boards on the market. If that's your thing, you know, cross-stepping and dancing, you know, if you just, the most tricks you're going to do is to shove it to a G-turn, you know, this is your board, the Bhangra. And that's the two boards. Let us know what you think. If you own both boards, yeah, let us know. Comment below, send us an email, post it online, let us know. But that's the two boards. Enjoy. Hop out.
Double Panda.